to our faculty webpage Lunch and Learn. Dr. Seth Jones is going to be presenting to us, if you're like me, what you need to do. He's going to demonstrate how easy it is and maybe what not to do or what not to avoid, as I have been avoiding. So join me in welcoming Dr. Jones.
Yay.
I love being welcomed by people clapping for me. So like Nancy said, she asked me if I would talk a little bit about updating your faculty webpage. So today we're going to do two things. I'm going to just give a quick kind of some ideas to have in mind as you're thinking about it, and demo, like actually just go through, here's how you update your faculty webpage. And then the idea is that we spend a chunk of time after that with everybody having an opportunity to update their faculty webpage, and we can help each other troubleshoot if we're having problems or things like that. The first thing to know about me is that I really hate self-promotion. And so I think that's one of the things that can hold many of us back from working on things like a faculty webpage or some kind of externally facing image, is because it just feels weird if you're not into self-promotion. So I think it's important for us to think about why would we spend, if we don't love self-promotion, then why would we spend time updating or maintaining a faculty webpage? There were a couple of things that I thought about. The first is, it took me a little while to realize this, but pretty quickly as an assistant professor, I realized that our job requires a public presence. Like we, whether it's with our students in a classroom or online classes or recruiting or whatever, we're always kind of working to create more visibility for our department or college or MTSU. And we're doing things like going to conferences or publishing in journals. So there's always sort of a public presence version of our job. It's there. And so this one I got to pretty quickly. The second one, it took me much longer to get to because I'm not particularly interested in a digital presence. I don't have Facebook. I just don't do that. But I have been increasingly convinced at how important it is for me to do my job well. Some sort of digital presence. One reason is because people are going to search your name whether you like it or not. Students that get a class with you and they've never heard of you, people at a conference that are going to go to a talk that you've been to or maybe have been to a talk that you did, people from other universities that may know for some reason that you're doing something similar to what they're doing and want to know more about you. And as I'll show you in just a second, whether you realize it or not, if someone types your name and MTSU into Google, the very first link at the top of the list is your faculty webpage. There's no, it's not like it's hard to find. It's right there. That your webpage quickly, so people are going to search you, it's just part of the job, and that your webpage quickly communicates both explicitly and implicitly. What I mean by that is communicates by the things you have on there, but it also communicates by the things you don't have on there. Things about you as a professional, whether it's fair or not. Some of it I think is fair, like, oh, okay, this kind of tells me what they're interested in. Others are not fair, like, oh, this is a person that hasn't updated their web page in 10 years. That kind of, maybe I'm making some judgments about them that aren't fair, but I think are made. And that I think the other reason is in the spirit of us being educators and being thoughtful about the people that we're working with, even if we don't care about our internet presence, a lot of times many of our students and colleagues do, not because they want us to be self-promoting, but because they need to know about what we're doing so that they can do their job and know kind of how our work relates to them. So I think it's important to do, even if it doesn't feel like something that you want to do. And then the third thing I thought about is that this is a chance for us to actually get to shape our professional identity, and we have all the control over it. We get to say what it is that we're interested in, or what we care about, or what kinds of projects are most important to us, or what we want people to know about our work. So we get to have a say in sort of who people see us to be in our job, and there's not many places where you can do this and you get all the say. And I think that thinking about it as sharing what it is that you care about for me at least, can sort of take a little bit of the icky feeling of self-promotion. If what I think I'm doing is promoting myself, it's like, oh, I don't really love the feeling of that. But if what I'm doing is promoting our program, oh, I would love to do that. I love our program. I'd tell everybody about it. I'd talk about it all day long. Or if what I'm doing is promoting things that I'm doing with students, oh, look at these students. They're so brilliant. They create amazing things. Of course, I want to promote that. So I think that a helpful way to think about it as far as shaping your professional identity is, if you, like me, can feel kind of icky about self-promotion, if what you think is, okay, I'm not really promoting myself here, I'm trying to promote the programs or people around me that I'm working with that are doing amazing things that I really do want other people to know about and to know that I care about. Any other reasons people have in mind for updating a faculty webpage?
Might almost be like a backup to the OFD you're building, like somehow. It's like a cheat sheet to that, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
And if you're more encouraged to keep it updated, then you can maybe borrow back and forth to the things you have to turn in for the college.
And it communicates to a different audience.
Yeah.
You know, it communicates to the students very similar things that we're communicating to our tenure promotion committee or department chairs, dean, the provost, but kind of packaged differently.
And I think even within that, and it's implied there, but this notion of being up to date, being in the present, not 10 years ago or 7 years ago or even a year ago, like it's up to date, and you're up to date and you value being current.
And I have found the activity in that spirit to be formative for myself, that as I'm thinking, okay, what would I want to put in this little box that's supposed to tell people what I'm working on? How would I describe it? It helps me to reflect on, all right, of all the sort of craziness that I feel like I'm running from one thing to the other, what's the main thing that I want my work to be about? And that's helpful for me to sort of come back to that regularly. And one more reason is that it's really, really easy to do. It takes like 10 minutes, so it's not like a heavy lift. You could literally be done in the time that we're going to be in here and not look at it again until this time next year, and spend 15 more minutes at that point adding a few things to it. So it's really easy. I thought it might be helpful in thinking about that first slide to do a comparative case study that Nancy has graciously agreed to participate in. The claim I'd made earlier. If I am a student or a faculty somewhere else and I've heard of this person, Nancy, then I search Nancy Calkin MTSU, that the very first link that comes up right here is Nancy's faculty webpage. So I'm going to click on this, and I want everyone to imagine that you do not know Nancy. You've never met her. And the exercise is going to be, let's pull up the webpage and see what can we learn about the work Nancy does from her webpage. What do we learn about her? All right, so I have to scroll a little bit for you to see the whole thing, but okay. So what do we learn about Nancy? We don't know her.
She's from Tennessee. A lot.
Yeah. She must have spent a lot of time in Tennessee because all her degrees are from institutions in Tennessee.
Looks like she's in charge of everything.
Departments and programs? Yeah. Man, she works in 7 different departments. Yep.
I didn't pay attention to that.
I don't know how that's populated because they've got me with 6.
Yeah, you'll see in just a second. There's certain things that you can't actually change about it, and unfortunately, this is one of them. You can also learn how to get in contact with her. So if I didn't know how to get in contact with her, I could email her, I could call her, I could find her office. Wait, that's not your office. Room 380?
That's old. That's not right anymore.
I cannot find Nancy's office based on this. I can knock on a stranger's door.
Tiffany Wilson's office.
Okay. So I can get to Tiffany's office and ask her if she knows how to find Nancy Calkin. That's what I can do. And I think I don't know why I notice this. I notice when people are the kind of people that prefer not to use the picture that they took of them in front of the blue screen whenever you got your ID badge and everything. For whatever reason, I don't know what that says to me about someone. I'm the same kind of person. But a lot of times you get to a faculty page and it's like a picture of them at the top of a mountain. And so it sort of says something about their personality. Now, second part of the exercise is, we all know Nancy. So what are things that Nancy does that you would have no way of knowing by looking at this page? But we all know, oh my gosh, if you want to know about Nancy Calkin, you need to know these things about her work.
She teaches abroad.
That's right. She's building an entire program of teaching abroad for elementary, people who are training to be elementary school teachers, people who are training to be secondary teachers, undergraduates, PhD students. Yes. What else?
I better write this stuff down that you guys say.
Maybe just the courses she normally teaches.
Yeah. What kinds of classes does she teach? That kind of tells me what her expertise is in, right? Yeah.
Can you scroll up a bit again?
Nancy, aren't you a journal editor too?
Yeah, I am.
How about like coordinator responsibilities?
Yeah, she coordinates all of Ready to Teach, right? For our whole department.
It's funny how we know her, but we don't really know her.
She organizes this. For 2 years, she's been organizing this Lunch and Learn. So we could go on and on.
I like to camp and be outdoors.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, there can be personal characteristics. That's right, personal characteristics about her. Yeah, so we've been saying a lot of the things that are important about her work, but she would actually have an opportunity to write things that help people understand, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm interested in, this is why I do this work, this is what I love about it. And those are all things that would probably be better said in her words, even though we know all these things. So the exercise is meant to illustrate that from this page, I would never know any of that about her. And actually, those are really important things to know about her if I professionally am trying to better understand who this person is and how we might relate.
In one way, and this is truly beneficial, is that if we're ever contacted by someone from the public requiring information from an expert about a certain topic, for example, when I was at Kent State, I was once contacted by a reporter from the Cleveland Plain Dealer who wanted my input regarding changes with the Cleveland Public Library. And at the time, my page wasn't that up to date. I think he was actually referred to me by someone else. But had my page been updated properly then at Kent State, then he could have. So this is something else to keep in mind. You can be contacted by someone from within your professional area, someone from the public, someone from the government. I mean, this having this information profile available.
I think that's actually an audience I didn't have in mind, but just this week, the governor gave the State of the State address, and a big part of it was apparently increased funding for teacher salaries and attention to teacher preparation programs. So if I'm a media outlet looking for someone in our area that runs teacher preparation programs, that's where I could find that on Nancy's webpage. Oh, she's over Ready to Teach for secondary programs.
And wouldn't it be better for those people to find Middle Tennessee faculty as opposed to UTK or Vanderbilt or something like that, right?
Yeah, local, Middle Tennessee University that produces more teachers than any other university. That's who they would want to talk to, you would think. Okay, so just as a counterexample, I don't know if anyone knows this guy in the College of Business, and I never know how to pronounce his name correctly. So if I go to Charlie's faculty page, and this is not to say that his is like some exemplary thing, but I tried to pick someone that maybe people in here might not know, and just to note that he has. It's minimal, but a bit more, information about himself, his areas of expertise, and then a video here of, Out of the Blue or whatever that, of him being interviewed on Out of the Blue, where you could probably learn a lot more about what he cares about. He has a link to his personal website. He has a link to his, oh shoot, what is this called? LinkedIn, that's right. LinkedIn, Twitter accounts. Oh, those are two things we didn't even mention. Nancy has a Twitter account. Nancy has a LinkedIn account. It's true, she does. And so here, I could click on Charlie's, and I could see, what kind of stuff does he do? Whoa, data, okay, he must do some kind of big data something, or data science something, which he does. And I'm sure that you would learn more about that as you watched this video. So even though we don't know Charlie, or many of us in this room may not, we could get a sense for, if I was wanting to find someone at MTSU that's involved in data science, okay, this seems like a good person to get in touch with that I could learn more from. Okay, so like I said, this is really easy to do. All of it we could probably do in here, although some of this you may want to give a little more thought to. But I think first, it's important to create a vision for what you want your page to be. So there's, certain categories of things, of course, you'll want to put in there. We've listed some of those already. But, I would encourage you to think more generally, what do I want this to communicate about me? When people hit this page, what do I want them to know about me as a professional in terms of what I do, what I care about, what motivates me, that sort of thing. We all do more than we can put on a web. If you put everything you did on a web page, people probably wouldn't learn a whole lot because it would just be so much stuff. So what parts of your work do you want to highlight? What do you want to be kind of front and center? And how do you want to sort of paint your role in our department, in the college, across the university? We were talking about Nancy as directing our Ready to Teach program. So Nancy might want to think about, okay, when someone hits there, is that what I would, want them to leave being like, oh, that's an important role that she serves. And then to collect things for the page. So things like, if you want, not all of these you necessarily would do, but picture, your updated CV, social media stuff, promotional materials for programs that you are a part of, your own personal, I didn't click it, but Charlie had his own personal website that was on his faculty webpage to link to. Media appearances, background information, class information, just, what's the stuff that I want to use to populate this web page. And then, as I'm just about to show you, it's as easy as logging into Pipeline, editing your page, and literally instantly seeing the changes. So you can even kind of tweak, and there's no delay between editing and seeing your page. So why don't I go through those last few steps, 3, 4, and 5, just to show you, and then we can spend time working on ours. All right, so this is what it looks like when you log into Pipeline. If you notice on the right-hand side, there's an icon for Update Faculty Web Profile.
Isn't it amazing that it's always probably been there and I've never even noticed it?
You click on that, and now you could have multiple web pages. So if you had a specific web page for a program, I don't know if Ready to Teach has a web page, I don't know. So, I only have one web page, so there's just this listed, but someone could have access to editing multiple web pages. And on the right-hand side, under Actions, there's a little pencil, which is the universal icon for edit, I think. You click that, and this is what comes up, the editing page. Now, I will say, for anyone that's actually into website design or graphic design, it's very constraining, which makes it easy, very easy. You just type the stuff in there. But if you're the kind of person that wants, I would want that to be above that, or I would want that to be over.
That's what a CMS is, content management system.
Yeah, that's right.
Designed specifically for that, so it takes away all creativity.
You just put the content in there. That's right. That's right. So once you've collected your artifacts, for example, I go by my middle name, which you all know. So it was important. On my original page, it just said Ryan Jones, because if you see the little red asterisk, those are required and middle name is not. So I wanted to make sure my middle name was in there so that people have a fighting chance at knowing what I go by. And all of this is just sort of your straightforward information, office. I don't have anything in here for office hours, but that could be the kind of thing that would be important to put in there. The title of my position. And then here under websites and social media, this is where you just paste a link for the different websites and social media, and it populates the page in the appropriate way. So I don't have a personal website or an additional website, but I have a LinkedIn account, I have a Twitter account, and so I just literally go to my Twitter page, select the URL, copy and paste it right there, and then it'll put the little icon like Charlie had in his that takes people straight to it. I was the kind of person that just didn't love the faculty photo that I had the first day I arrived on campus. So you can upload your own picture, or if you are the kind of person that's like, you know what, I don't really want a picture of me to be on my faculty website, then you can actually request to not have any picture on the faculty website. All of your degree information, you cannot edit. This gets pulled from Banner, and as I understand it, you have to get in touch with the provost's office if you feel like the way your degrees are described don't really reflect what your degree is about. Sometimes that happens since it basically just pulls code and describes it based on that code. And then there are a number of text boxes for, I have text for areas of expertise, biography, research, and scholarly activity. I don't have anything for creative activity. I don't have my publications listed or presentations or awards or anything like that because, oh, where did I miss the CV? Oh, I went right past. So you can upload a file for your CV. So I just have a link to my CV, so I didn't put it in those boxes. And then there's an in the media. And so I have a link there. And then at the bottom, I have 2 YouTube videos that are embedded in my faculty webpage. And so you just, yeah, it's content management system. You put the content in there, you click save, and then instantly, so what I do when I'm updating it is I open a tab that has my faculty webpage open. So you can see text here for areas of expertise and biography. Oh, and this is a nice thing that it does. It collapses it into 3 lines. So if you fear like, oh, if I write too much, people are not gonna keep going and looking at my other stuff. It collapses it into 3 lines, and so people can expand if they want to, but it keeps your page kind of nice and tight. And on the left, I have the link for my CV, and then LinkedIn and Twitter. This, whenever you in the media, if you put a link in there, unfortunately, I could not figure out a way to upload an actual file, like if you had a PDF file of a newsletter or something. But this was in the ITD communicator, so I just put the link in there to it so people know about that project. And then this video is a recruitment video for our math science education PhD program.
Did you just upload the URL for that?
For the YouTube?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Right here at the very bottom, YouTube videos are just, and you can just add as many as you want. And so this is here, and this is a video that Nancy created. That's a recruitment video for our MTeach.
Well, it was a group. It wasn't just me that created it.
And so these are the 2 programs that I work in. So I wanted to have the recruitment videos for those programs on my faculty website so students could see them, potentially learn more about them. And so just to show you, if I decided, you know what, I'm tired of this going by my middle name stuff, I don't want to do that anymore, I could take that away, click save, and if I go over here and refresh this page, oh, what happened? Yeah. Yeah, it actually changed the URL. That's interesting. But it's instant. So if you make changes, that's why I keep both tabs open. So I do something, I go over and I see what does that look like if I put it in that way. And then if I don't like it, I decide, you know what, I'm going to keep going by my middle name. Let's keep doing this. I can just come back and add it. That's funny. That changes the URL too.
Yeah, it must pull from those fields directly into the URL. That's interesting.
Okay, so I think we'd planned for half the time to be me talking about stuff and the other half for us to be able to work on our own faculty web pages. Are there any questions or thoughts that people have before we jump into giving you all time to work on it?
I had a question about the YouTube. It doesn't look like there's a way to put a title above the video to kind of explain briefly what it is that you're going to be watching.
Yeah.
So you actually have to watch the video to find out what it, okay.
Yeah, the only thing you get is the name of the video in YouTube, like sort of right here. But you're right that there's not a title here. Now, something that I have not done, but I think could be worth doing if you had a situation like that where you felt like, I need people to know what this video is so that they'll watch it. I would call ITD and talk to their web people. I have talked to them a little bit about building a separate website for a project. And at least in that conversation, they have an architecture that you have to work within, but she told me, you know, if you have things that you're not able to do in the content management system, just call me. We'll see if we can make it happen. So I think if you called ITD, if there was something that you really felt like, I'd like to do this and I can't figure out how. Yeah.
In each one of the fields, like publication, presentations, they have an insert link button and allows you to insert a URL and then also to display text that pertains. So it's like embedding a URL in a Word document or something like that. So you can do it that way at least.
That's true. It's true. You could have them listed there and they wouldn't be previewed, like they wouldn't be embedded. They would just link you to the video, right? Yeah.
But then at least you're presenting them with the text that, you know, this is my video, this is the video of me presenting at this conference. Right. And then the URL would be embedded in that text. This is my video, for example, if you want it that way. That's a great so you can do it that way.
Yeah. And you could have both. You could have them in both places if you...
Exactly.
Yep. Any other questions or...
Is there a way to handle alt text for photographs or videos?
Ask the question again. Alt text?
So like if someone who is visually impaired was looking at my website, would they know that that's just a decorative picture of my head? Would they know if
I see. For visually impaired.
Included something else, you know, like would they know the bottom, the video, and this goes back to the description of the video and, hey, how do we...
I don't know the answer to that question.
I mean, and I understand that this is very restrictive. Yep. Like, I would love to set it so that it opens in a new window because I don't want you going away from my profile face. It's all about me. It's all about me.
But I mean, it's within the MTSU. I don't know the answer to the question. I have to imagine that the MTSU main web presence has some support for visually impaired people. Yeah. So it might be there and I just don't know. Well, Frank, do you know, being a library person?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So she was asking about support for visually impaired people.
There does not appear to be anything in here that would support that, to be quite honest with you. I think that would be something that you would have to request that ITD add as part of the content management system, where it would have a link, or it'd give you the ability to embed text. Yeah, exactly. Or embed certain words to represent the text for those with visual issues. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to remember the name of the person who sends us compliance tips. I can search it. That might be a person to ask.
It used to be Bill Burgess. Is it Jimmy Williams?
Oh, the guy.
Who was the guy that just came and spoke at Faculty Senate, Nancy? The guy about, because he was talking about the app to support visually impaired students.
Yeah,
Is it disability services you're talking about?
that's what I was thinking of, but there's,
He was from the compliance, so the disability services and the compliance are two offices, yeah. And he was from the compliance office.
Like even if I right click on my faculty photo, there's nothing I can do to add alt text to it. So, no, it just doesn't have that functionality in it.
All right, well, we can keep talking, asking questions, throwing out things that we're finding that I didn't know about. But I want to make sure you all have some time to work on it right now if you want to, and then you could leave the session having an updated, fresh faculty webpage.
very good. Thank you. Let's give Seth a hand.